नमस्कार. ह्युस्टन महाराष्ट्र मंडळ प्रस्तुत प्रवास स्वप्नपूर्तीचा 2026 च्या ब्रँड न्यू भागात मी आपल्या सगळ्यांचं स्वागत करते. सर्वप्रथम ह्युस्टन महाराष्ट्र मंडळातर्फे आपण सर्वांना नववर्षाच्या हार्दिक शुभेच्छा. आज आपण भेटणार आहोत श्री इथन केलर यांना. आपल्या सगळ्यांना नक्कीच प्रश्न पडला असेल की इथन केलर तर बरंचसं अमेरिकन नाव आहे, तर ह्युस्टन महाराष्ट्र मंडळाच्या पॉडकास्टमध्ये इथन कसं काय? तर मला आपल्या सगळ्यांना नक्कीच सांगायला आवडेल की जितके आपण मराठी आहोत तितकेच इथनही मराठी आहेत. कारण की इथन हे लहानपणापासून महाराष्ट्र मंडळाशी जोडलेले आहेत. अंजू साठे केलर या आपल्या ज्या मंडळाच्या विश्वस्त आहेत त्यांचे ते सुपुत्र आहेत. तर आज आपण भेटूया इथन यांना. इथन US आर्मी मध्ये सर्व करतात. आपण आज जाणून घेऊया त्यांच्या स्वप्नपूर्तीचा प्रवास. नमस्कार इथन.
Namaskar, Madam Mashi. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Ethan, could you tell us a little bit about your background? Where did you grow up, and what influenced your early years?
Of course. Grew up in Newark, Delaware. I'm 27 years old, and I was born in 1998. I went to a small school in the Hockessin County called Independent School. And I guess my formative years were primarily spent studying really hard, learning how to play sports, and an intrinsic, unusual drive that made me want to be a soldier. I believe my mom has previously stated that even as like a young 3-year-old boy, I would walk around with golf clubs, marching around, pretending to be a soldier.
So, is there a particular moment, a person, or a situation that sparked this dream?
Yes. So I would say that both of my parents sparked this dream. My dad has a colored history throughout his military service, going back to the Revolutionary War in his family. And once I learned of that in my later teen years, I realized that it's a bit of a family legacy to serve in the country's military. But additionally, it was a more intrinsic drive that drove me to keep trying for the military service when I was 18. It was my mom's immigration to this country. When she came to this country and she started working on her career and on everything that created this family and the opportunities that this country provides and the liberties that she's taken with her freedom of speech, freedom of rights, I realized that I wanted to defend those and have more people go through the same process that she did and have the same opportunities she did. And I wanted to defend that. So it was an intrinsic drive as well.
Wow, interesting. Did you face any challenges while pursuing this career?
Oh, yes. So there were several challenges that I faced immediately. Of course, everyone dreams of playing soldier and everyone's told the military is hard, but it doesn't hit you in the face until you're getting yelled at to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and you have to put on certain clothes. It's pitch black. You're blustering around in the middle of nowhere, and you realize, maybe I've made a terrible mistake.
Oh.
But
So,
sticking through, it was a mental game, and additionally the physical challenges of it were of course difficult because I was a studier. I never worked out my entire life going into the military. I could barely do 10 push-ups, and I just had to develop that.
so how did your family react to your decision?
They were very supportive. I was very happy for that. My dad was happy that I joined the military. Heartbroken I didn't follow him and his dad for joining the Navy, but we can't all be winners. And my mom was very happy too because she knew I'd wanted this my entire life, and she supported my dreams.
So, army training is supposed to be very intense. So, how did you prepare mentally, physically to get into that?
So mentally, I always knew I wanted to be in the military. So you can't really prepare for getting yelled at, having a strict regimented life if you've never experienced it before. You just have to have that internal spirit and that internal motivation to push yourself to the end and make sure that you know that you want this and that you can stick this out. And physically, thank God for my parents, because I had no earthly idea how to work out. It turns out the trick is simple. After a few years, I realized if I want to do more push-ups, I just need to practice doing more push-ups. But I think I was going to the gym, figuring out like muscle building and life hacks, and eventually I was able to pass the bare minimum. But the continual physical performance, that is something that's a long and arduous process that keeps going.
What was the toughest part of your training,
Ooh,
and how did you push through that?
I think the toughest part of my training was in my scholarship years at Texas A&M University.
Mhm.
So, full disclosure, I was on an Army scholarship for the Reserve Officer Training Corps of the United States Army. I was a cadet at the time. And in my first semester, I had a crazy idea, and I was incredibly ambitious. I would be in the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M. I was going to. I was in the construction science program. I wanted to be a biomedical engineer, so I attempted double major my first semester. I
Commendable.
attempted to go as far as I could in the Corps of Cadets, so I went for a special unit called the Rudders Rangers, which is an ex, a slightly more difficult version of the Corps of Cadets. And as well, I wanted to join a men's choir because I wanted to carry on from high school. So I joined the singing cadets.
Oh,
And my first semester was trying to figure out how on earth I could make this work.
multi-talented Ethan.
I survived. Multi-talented, I doubt, but
So,
no.
is there anything about army life that surprised you?
Yes. So the Army surprised me, especially in that I thought it was going to be strict regimen, marching around and going through basic training. You experience that and you assume, oh, this is going to be my life now. But when you get to the actual line, as it's referred to, which is your real job in a real unit, you realize, oh, they actually do give you time off, and your job does end usually around 5 or 6 p.m.
Uh-huh.
And you actually have free time, and now I have pay and money, and I have a place to live. So it expands your worldview and it gives you an odd amount of freedom, not to include the half days that we get several
So,
times.
what is a typical day in army life for you?
Yeah. So right now, I'm in what's called a staff position. For officers, we have command positions, which is with a unit directly in charge of soldiers and conducting certain kinds of direct jobs that affect the army. And I'm in what's called a staff position, which is more of a background administrative role. My day-to-day life is fairly simple. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning to get my cup of coffee, change, get ready to go work out. 5:45 to 6:15, I drive into work. Have to beat the traffic, get there a little early. 6:30 to 7:30, we work out, conduct PT, physical training. From 7:30 till approximately 8:45, that's free time to shower, change, use the restroom, get some breakfast, etc. And then from 9 a.m. till 5 o'clock, we're just working nonstop. My current job is the orders manager, and that entails receiving several orders from higher commands and higher administrative roles, and I have to disseminate that down to lower level administrative roles.
And how was your typical day during your training?
During my training, it is far more regimented than that.
That's what we would like to hear from you.
Yes. So, yes, as I've mentioned, a day in the life of the Army is like a normal 9 to 5, but goodness gracious, basic training. That was wake up at 5 a.m., brush the barracks down for 15 minutes. A drill sergeant walks through, inspects everything. Something's gone wrong, do it again. Probably do some form of push up, some form of physical corrective activity. And that goes on until 6:15. Walk out the door, 6:30 to 7:30, PT again. But this time you're marched into the showers. You made to stand at attention and parade rest. They march you to the dining facility. They march you to your classes, and you have to knock out your classes in this order, in this structure, between 9 till 11:30. Small lunch, go knock out a physical course. Sometimes it's an obstacle course, sometimes a marksmanship range, grenade range, physical activity in the later afternoon. Usually you're finished by 5 p.m. To 6 p.m. They walk you back to the dining facility. By 7 to 8 p.m., you're doing your last round of physical activity if need be. You're doing your last rounds of cleaning, sweeping the barracks. But then you get about, I think now the Army's a little nicer. I've heard they give you 30 minutes off in the evening to talk to your family if you're feeling stressed. They give
Only
you
30 minutes.
only plenty of time. Yes, but then 9 to 10 p.m., you are sleeping, but realistically as well, you have to conduct what's called fire watch, which is every hour, someone has to be awake and watching to make sure that a fire doesn't happen. It's to train you for when you're in the field and you're knocking out security patrols. That is your security operation, is having one designated person or at least 25% of your unit awake and alert at all times to make sure that an enemy doesn't attack you.
So we would like to know that, since you were talking about education and now you said salary, all those things, apart from salary and educational support, what facilities and benefits U.S. Army has to offer to its soldiers?
So I will gladly talk about the benefits, as I've used several of them at this point. As I've stated, I'm previously a scholarship recipient, which means my entire tuition was paid for by the Army. And then while serving the Army, I have received LASIK, which you can see the results of right now for free. I have been able to travel to 2 separate European countries, Romania and Poland, fully paid for with time off while we're over there. I've had so many 3 and 4 days I can't even count this year, just because we're back from Europe, so we're in what's called low training cycle. So we actually get some more time off than usual because in Europe we had less time off. And not even to count the quarterly tuition benefits that we receive, which is 9 credit hours for any degree program you'd like in the country. Further optional programs for specialty training. I myself have just conducted civil affairs selection, and now I'm permitted to learn a complex language paid by the Army for 6 to 8 months. And I think I'm going to choose Arabic, Mandarin, Russian, and they'll.
So can you share any thrilling, adrenaline pumping experience with us from your Army days so far?
Yes, I can. I'm going to have to gloss over some of the ones I can't talk about, but there was once that I was in a tank. It was during basic training. Yes, I can very much talk about this one. I was in my officer basic training. It's called ABLE, Armor Basic Officers Leaders Course. During this school, we have 4 phases, and by the final phase, it's called field exercise. You're in the field, you're driving tanks around. They have these systems on them called mile system, which is basically tank laser tag, and you're supposed to attack an opponent with your tanks or defend with your tanks. At the time, I was defending with my tanks, and I distinctly remember the first time I felt a massive surge of adrenaline through me was when I was in the defense. I was taking my job very seriously. I think at the time, every single one of my peers, I don't know if they still do, but they respected me at the time. They listened to all of my commands. They knew everything. They were ready to go, ready to shoot, ready to attack. I'd already set a barbed wire trap for the tank's treads. I'd set up pre-planned fire positions. And just for fun, I've been talking to some of our instructors, and they slightly let me have a joint fire support card, which is an air support card. And I distinctly remember predicting near pinpoint perfection exactly what my opponent was about to do. And he played into my strategy like I had predicted the future. And I see him walk right into my barbed wire. I knew he was going to reverse into a minefield. I knew that he was going to go right down a pre-planned fire target that I was calling in. And then my tanks were attacking him. During this training exercise as well, the tanks only stayed dead for maybe 30 seconds before they're allowed to continue, because it's really about training. It's not about winning. But at some point, I distinctly remember about 10 minutes into this battle, our enemy still hadn't gotten through my first level of defense. I started calling on my defense to start a counterattack, which none of them had trained for, and I was just making up this plan on the fly. I called in my airstrike, and my grader, who's right next to me, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you got to let him win. Got to stop what you're doing. He's crying." And that's when I felt both really bad and so proud of myself, because I made someone who's my own age doing the exact same job have no idea what he's doing about himself.
Wow. This whole story sounds like a Bollywood movie scene, right?
It was almost. I think at the time they lovingly gave me the nickname Patton, which I don't think I've lived up to, dear God, but in honor of one of the famous tank commanders at the time. So I think my favorite part is at the very end of the exercise, I should have received a full 100 out of 100 points on my defense.
Wow.
I lost 20 points for what was described as radio etiquette, because I was just calling them, just attack him, just go, freaking attack this guy right now. calling him out on the radios nonstop. There was one other time. I can't talk about that one too much, but
Okay.
yeah. I get shot at by friendly fire, so that was interesting. To clarify, it's only a few shots. It didn't come close to actually hitting me. It was like a few shots over my head while lying down in a ditch. I'm like, what the heck? Threw my head over. My platoon sergeant
my
tackled me
God.
from the back because I didn't know what that was. And
Oh,
he's like, no, don't stand up. You're getting
scary,
shot
though.
at. I was like, wait, we are?
My God, that's scary. Ah,
But yeah, then we yelled at the guy who started firing. I think he was punished correctly. Yeah, I think that wasn't really scary until the day after. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened?
when we watch it on screen,
Mhm.
it's, of course, it is adrenaline pumping for us too. But then it's just a story. You know, it's going to end well later on. But
I'm
then
alive.
if it is real life, oh my God, I can't even imagine the. No.
Oh no! And the moment, I think that's the funniest and more interesting part of it. That you don't realize your adrenaline is pumping until afterwards when you suddenly crash. I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment, don't feel any pain, don't feel
Oh,
anything.
that time you just have to be alert,
Mhm.
on toes, reacting the way you are supposed to.
Oh yeah. But the
Mm.
funniest part is there were people. How do I respectfully say this? Not in as good a shape as me, who were reacting way quicker than I was with those. So adrenaline's weird and funny, and I can
Mm.
confidently say even I'm in fairly good shape, but my goodness, people you least expect will perform miracles.
Is there any moment that made you feel proud of serving army?
Oh yes. So in 2023, I distinctly remember my tank platoon was in Poland. We were in this area called Mołopiski. We were, I think, the most lethal tank in our company. I believe in our battalion. Our little like 4 tank platoon was the big deal in the area. So we were called upon to uh, by the Polish government to participate in one of their parades, which is a high honor because it was the Polish Armed Forces Day parades. They wanted to honor their NATO partners, and my tanks were selected for that. So, of course, during the time I played an administrative role, and my sergeants were rolling down the streets in their tanks. But at the end of it, we had this event called a static display. Essentially, line up all our vehicles, let the public climb on them, take pictures, smiles. I had to smile for like 6.5 hours during that day. Good lord! But near the end, I got a sudden call from my battle group commander saying, "Hey, Keller, there's don't freak out, but the ambassador of Poland is going to be there soon, and the vice president of Poland is going to be there soon, and you need to show them how the tank works."
Oh, wow.
Oh, wonderful! Not a problem. And I had to walk them through just the process of the tank. I think that was the proudest I felt of the army is that
Absolutely.
I'm some random junior officer, fresh to the force, not even a year in my time, and I was showing around high-ranking figures who genuinely wanted to learn about these systems, how they work, and I had to explain it to them as the expert.
Wow. So, any numbing, life changing experiences that change your perspective?
Yes. So I guess my disclosure to the audience is a little dark. I had a soldier almost die on me before. Um, it wasn't anything in combat. It wasn't anything combat related. He was just doing something stupid the previous night before, and I, as his leader, had given him the morning to sleep in, and unbeknownst to me, that morning he was suffering a very bad reaction while he was doing the night prior. And we only found out about that because one of my soldiers, a senior leader, had a bad feeling, went to check on him, and that's when I found out. Oh, he was almost dying and choking to death in his own room, and that was the most introspective perspective. That this is going to be a bit of a morbid lesson, but life is valuable. Live it to the fullest. Uh, Death can come close at almost any time, and
True.
just have no regrets for anything that you've done. And if you can do a good thing and stand by your people and make sure that they're okay, do that every single time. Because you never know when something could happen.
Absolutely true. So, how do you handle your fear, loss that comes with this job?
I just live my life day at a time. Whenever I make a decision, I think about how I'd feel now and in the future. Before I really faced a lot of self introspection through the army,
Mhm.
I always thought, oh, long term planning, how is this going to help me in the far future? Think about only the future self. But thanks to, again, a few darker moments in the army, I've
Mhm.
realized that uh, things can happen that changes the entire trajectory of your life. Enjoy
Absolutely.
yourself right now and the you in the present. And that's been my more interesting introspection and how I deal with all the darker parts of the army. That as long as I'm feeling good about myself right now, the
Mhm.
future will happen, but it's still far off. If I'm happier now, I'll be happier in the future.
So one day at a time.
Exactly.
Take it as it comes.
Hmm.
So, how would you guide the younger generation, especially the HMM kids?
So I guess this will be the message to the HMM kids. I give a very specific message. Be confident with yourself. If you think that you have a good idea, speak up about it. In the army, I've seen so many situations where no one in the room knew what was going on, but everyone was really scared to look like the idiot in the room. If nobody asks the question, nobody knows what's going on, and then right afterwards, everyone suddenly mutters to each other, "Hey, did you have any idea what that meant? What was that acronym about?" I've had to be the guy so many times to raise my hand and say, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what any of this means. Can you break it down a lot simpler? So don't be afraid of just being the most self confident person in the room and telling people how it happens. Second thing I would say, and this is a little more important, is stand up for what you genuinely believe in. Don't
Mhm.
let people walk over you. You may have heard a lesson that it is better to be humble than to be loud. No, especially nowadays when humility lets people walk over you, when people can push you around, when you think your boss can just yell at you and order you around and tell you what to do, stand up for yourself. You have value. You know what's good for you. You know what you want now and in the future. Stand up for yourself and believe in yourself and call out when you see bad actions occurring.
That was a very, very brilliant piece of advice, because unless and until you cannot, like, unless and until you help yourself, nobody's going to help you.
Mhm.
True.
It's a bit of a bad. I'm gonna be honest, it might not be a good lesson to learn, but at the same time, you are your own best critic and you're your own best
Absolutely.
friend at the end of the day, and you have to stand up for yourself to inspire others.
So true. So true. So, if someone listening to our podcast considering army career, what would you advise them? Like how to go about it, what prep they need to do, what mindset they have to have,
Mhm.
or how to pursue a career, like what's the right path to choose?
Mhm.
What would you like to tell them?
I will gladly tell them something. So, everyone assumes the army is a very physical endeavor.
Hmm.
It is. I don't deny for a second that the army is a physical endeavor. Um, you have to train, you have to be in a modicum of physical fitness, but realistically, when you're at boot camp and training, they'll get you into the shape they want you to be in.
Hmm.
Emotionally, it's taxing. It is very emotionally draining and taxing. This is the cost that people don't realize is associated with the army. At any given moment, you can pick up and go to another side of the planet for who knows how long.
Yeah.
I was officially stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, but in my 3 years I've been there, half of that time has been sent overseas. And within the first year I was there, most of my entire first year was spent overseas. So I never was able to set my community down. I was never able to set my feet down, never able to establish rapport with the local area
Hmm.
until just recently when I finally been stationed at home for a little less than a year now. Um, so emotionally, it's taxing, and for families especially, it's taxing.
Yeah, true.
But if you want to prepare for it, you have to just understand the mindset of what you need to be in. It's a big change. It's a very pronounced change. You're going to get a lot of benefits, but they're going to demand a lot of you. So you have to be willing to compromise, be willing to communicate, be willing to understand yourself and understand the needs of the people who care about you and talk to them. I think that's what you really need to do. Be in some form of physical fit shape and be emotionally available and open to talk to your friends and family.
And I guess emotionally strong as well.
Of course.
You cannot be emotional if you really.
I've I have mixed opinions on that one, honestly. I've been told that I'm very open, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I find that is a great thing. And most of the people I've talked to find that a great thing. You can be emotional in the Army. If you're too emotionally strong and not emotionally open, it leads to bad mental health down the lines, and negative habits start popping up that I've seen from several soldiers who have the what is it referred to as the machismo personality, that down the line they start stressing themselves out, they have a character to uphold, and it winds up being the doom of them. I find that being confident, again, as I said, confidence with yourself and knowing how you process under pressure, but at the same time being open to confronting that pressure and trying to better yourself. That's all that's really asked in the Army. Be stronger. That's it.
करेक्ट. सो आपल्या सगळ्यांना मला सांगायला खूप आवडेल की इथन हॅज बीन प्रमोटेड टू कॅप्टन पोझिशन just yesterday, and he got one of the most prestigious awards.
It is the Order of St. George.
So he's got one of the most prestigious award. He's amongst the very few youngest ever cadets. Is it cadets? Soldiers.
Yes.
It's youngest ever soldiers. So Ethan, would you like to tell us about that?
Of course. So yesterday I was recently promoted to captain. For those who are not, thank you. For those who are not very well aware, this is fairly traditional for most officers that at the 4-year mark they're promoted to captain. And that's mostly standard across the book, that you go from what's referred to as 01 to 03 in 4 years. What's less common is the Order of St. George, which is an honor bestowed upon those in the armor community. Thank you. Those in the armor community and the what's called the cavalry community, which essentially states that a leader is both physically, mentally, and leadership-wise capable, earnest, and has contributed so much to the armor community that they bestow essentially a knighthood.
So since your mom is Marathi, so of course she speaks a lot of Marathi in the house. Do you understand Marathi?
Yes, and I've noticed there's a trend with second generation Indian kids like myself, which is fairly funny. I understand everything that the Maushi say, that my mom says, and I can follow the conversation perfectly. I can even read some of the stuff they've written down.
Oh wow!
Never learned how to speak it in my life, so I can say the words and I can't pronounce them well, but I know
would say
everything.
तुझं अतिशय कौतुक आहे की तुला मराठी ॲटलिस्ट समजतं. So
yeah. So
and which of the Marathi festivals do you really enjoy a lot?
So I would say that obviously Ganpati Puja is going to be my favorite. I love the festival. I love screaming Ganpati Bappa Moria. I love going to all of the large events that we go to, the lighter festivals that we have. Oh, goodness gracious.
I remember last year you walked the ramp for Sankranti fashion show with your mom.
Of course. Because why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's great. I wanted to celebrate the
part
festival.
Of community,
it was wonderful.
Do you like Marathi food?
Yes.
What do you enjoy the most?
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, I do.
What do you enjoy the most?
Oh, goodness. So this is going to be a basic answer, but I love puri bhaji.
Oh.
And I love puri bhaji. It is the best thing ever. I love different kinds of dals. I like different kinds of paneer. Of course, chicken masala. I like, goodness, Rogan Josh.
That's not Marathi though.
I know, but now I'm just listing off Indian food. No.
Are you hungry?
Yes.
Okay, great. So apart from this army life, your daily regime and everything, what do you like to do the most during your free time?
So during the free time, this is the joy of the army, is that when I do have free time, is just, oh, thank God I have time off, and then I just slouch. But when I do have time off, I go out with friends. I go see movies. I do all my nerd hobbies, which would be video games. I have a little miniature collection. I paint. But thanks to the army, I developed new hobbies. So working out and running is now a really big part of it.
So you said you paint. So what type of paintings, like a canvas painting or?
So a little bit of that, and this is going to sound like the most Hallmark movie answer, but I've started going on hikes in the park with a very beginner's level paint set. I can't paint to save my life. But I hike out of there 4 miles, sit on the peak of an area where I can see out and then just paint the trees, paint the woods, try to paint the little valleys. I'm terrible at depth perception, it turns out, and I can't draw 3D.
You're a
Save my
nature
life.
lover too.
But I am. I do genuinely appreciate nature, and I didn't before I joined the army, which is more surprising.
Talking about India or talking about Marathi culture, have you ever been to India?
Oh yes, several
And
times.
which part of India have you been to?
Oh, Maharashtra region primarily, but of course I go to New Delhi. I went to Pune. I went to Goa. It's been, oh goodness gracious, nearly, yeah, I'd say closer to a decade now since the last time I've been. However, it's very funny you say that because just next month is my next trip to India. And I'm going for 2 weeks, and I'll be going to Mumbai, Pune,
Oh, wow.
and New Delhi to see all my relatives. And honestly, this is going to sound a bit preferenced, but I want to spend time there as a tourist this time, where I can actually immerse myself in the history, immerse myself in the culture, step outside the little family bubble that I'm normally a part of, and actually get into India's.
Since I have any childhood memories visiting Pune or like Maharashtra.
So specifically, not Pune, but Worli. I remember specifically
Mumbai.
in Mumbai. I remember as a child, I went there for a month to live with my aunt. I remember playing soccer with the kids in the big open field right outside the apartment. I was terrible, but it was so much fun. They accepted me immediately. I think I tried speaking English with them, and I don't think they knew a word I was saying. I remember going to New Delhi and seeing the huge city, going down in the Indian marketplaces, visiting Oasis, which was my grandpa's favorite restaurant, and that is now a core memory because every time we went to India, we would go to Oasis, and it is now like, I guess it is my go-to restaurant in Mumbai.
Wow. So, so your roots are in
yes.
India, of
So
course.
yeah,
Since your mom is
I view it as I have two roots. One's obviously in America. My new roots are in Texas, and yeah, of course, India is always part of my roots, and I'm very happy that I'm going back.
Since your mom Anju is from Mumbai, Maharashtra, what do you miss about Mumbai?
Ooh, honestly, I miss the community. Genuinely, when you would go out to Mumbai and you'd walk outside, everyone there would be so friendly, so open, so receptive to try to talk to you about anything and anyone. Meanwhile, here in the USA, it's harder to talk to people. It's more difficult to open up conversation with strangers. Meanwhile, in India, you can just join a random group of people playing a game, and they'll just let you in.
Do you like to read?
Oh yes. The most recent book I got was House of Leaves. I've been told that is a wonderful book, and I'm still trying to delve into it. It's just really hard.
Do you like to read technical books or story books or like just a fiction? What do you like?
Oh goodness, I'm always good for high fantasy fiction, but I've been really trying to get into more technical books and more leadership studies books because I care about my job, and I care about how I want to pursue my future. So I need to develop myself. Is what I've learned. But oh my goodness, if you tell me that I need to read The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings trilogy one more time, I will gladly do that again.
So apart from running, hiking, painting, I heard you like to sing too.
Yes, I do.
So of course, we all want to hear.
Putting me on the spot here. Thanks, Mom.
So the spotlight.
I know that just looks really awkward. I think, but
no, it's fine. I'm sure you are. You are anytime better than me, so you're good.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. I think that's all I remember of this song so far.
Since we are here, and I would like to talk to your parents also.
Yes.
For like, what was their feeling when you told them about your decision to join army? So I would like to welcome Anju and Hank on our show. Hi, Hank and Anju, welcome. Please join us.
What a surprise! Surprise.
So since you're here, I would like to ask, what was your reaction as parents when he told you about his decision to join US Army?
So
we kind of expected it right from the beginning
Mhm.
because, ever since he was a child, he always talked about being a soldier and did junior ROTC and all that stuff. And during high school, he would also go to like Fort Benning and Fort Knox. He did
Mhm.
like summer, whatever, training boot camps over there. So kind of knew that. But I think it really dawned on us when he did the oath, right? The commissioning. And that's when really I got teared up and I realized that this is now for real, right? It's no longer just ROTC and high school and college. And Hanky, what was your reaction?
Well, just saying what you were saying as well, we kind of expected him to go into the military. Probably because I was in the military and my father was in the military as well, so he's heard all the stories. And even through Boy Scouts, he did, I believe, 11 or 12 years of Boy Scouts with camping and all kinds of merit badges, and he was an Eagle Scout. He's always tried to achieve really well in those type of activities. The Corps of Cadets is when I first realized that I could see exactly where the path was he was going when he went to Texas A&M. And after he graduated, and like my wife said, he took the oath of commissioning. That's when it became very real too. But we kind of always knew he was going in that direction through most of his life.
असं म्हणायला हरकत नाही की त्याच्या नाही तर तो तुमच्या सगळ्यांच्या स्वप्नपूर्तीचा प्रवासी आपण असं म्हणू शकतो.
अगदी नक्कीच नक्कीच. म्हणजे आमचं जरी ते स्वप्न नसलं तरी त्याची स्वप्नपूर्ती झाली याचा आम्हाला आनंद होतो.
थँक्यू.
थँक्यू. चला निघूया. Oh, Ethan.
Yes, I do.
I would like to ask you, since Anju, your mom is Marathi and she is Hindu, so how Hinduism has influenced your life?
So Hinduism has I've been embraced by Hinduism ever since I was born. Whether it was reading the comic books growing up, to learning about Shivaji Maharaj growing up, and participating in the HMM functions and plays while we've been in Texas, to even doing the little head shake back and forth that I've learned is something I do a lot now too. The Hindu and Indian influences in my life have just always been there, and it really came to a culmination when I was 21, when I decided to take the plunge and have my munj.
Oh,
A little late, but
surprising.
yeah, a little later than most, but I decided it was better late than never. I decided to have it just right in our backyard in this beautiful place you can see in the background. We had the ceremony over here. Apparently, the priest Achalamashi was very happy with it because, unlike most of the children who get it when they're very young,
Yeah.
I was fully understanding and fully aware of everything that I was agreeing for, every single oath that I was taking, every single part of Hinduism that I was embracing at the time. And I'm a full Hindu ever since
Wow,
then.
that's really a very proud moment for Anju, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
कारण जितका इथेन अमेरिकन आहे तितकाच भारतीय पण आहे किंवा मराठी आहे म्हणू शकतो, कारण इथेनची मुंज देखील झालेली आहे. सो इथेन केलरशी आपण अगदी मनसोक्त गप्पा मारलेल्या आहेत. नेहमीप्रमाणे आपल्याला वेळ पुरत नाहीये, पण जर खरंच कोणाला आपल्या सगळ्यांकडे आता सेकंड जनरेशन किड्स आहेत इकडे आणि कोणालाही आर्मीमध्ये US आर्मी जॉईन करायची असेल, सर्व्हिसेस जॉईन करायचं असेल, तर आपल्या घरातला इथन ऍडवाइस करायला गायडन्ससाठी अवेलेबल आहे. प्लस इट्स अ व्हेरी इन्स्पायरिंग जर्नी अँड ऑफकोर्स टफ ॲज वेल. म्हणजे आर्मी बरोबर तुम्हाला खूप सारे बेनिफिट्स मिळतात, खूप साऱ्या सुविधा सोयी मिळतात, पण त्याचबरोबर इट्स अ व्हेरी व्हेरी टफ लाईफ. सो चूज युअर करिअर वाईजली आणि पुन्हा भेटूया प्रवास स्वप्नपूर्तीच्या पुढच्या भागात. नमस्कार.